Yeah, just a quick look at the sunrise before we start proceedings. Isn't the ocean just a beautiful place? Yes, it is. Aren't they lovely? Isn't she beautiful? G'day, Hock here. Welcome to vlog number 3, and we're talking sharks. How did I get into sharks? It's pretty easy, like millions of other people out there. My grandparents took me to see Jaws when I was, I don't know, 6 or 7. I was stamped that night because when we got home, I was a bit scared and I insisted, I wanted to sleep with Nana and Grandpa, which was fine, except Grandpa Jones, being the prankster that he was and is. Grandpa, how are you, brother? He pretended that the bed was a life raft and that to get near the edge of the bed meant certain death because the great fish would come and eat you and gobble me up. And cut a long story short, I ended up going to university studying marine science. But these days I surf, and I obviously know a lot of surfers. But sharks, from a surfing point of view, they're a different kettle of fish because you're bobbing on the surface. You can't really interact with them energetically, and you're at their mercy lots of the time. So this week we are just going to talk to people about their experiences with sharks in the surf, give or take. We'll get to meet a few friends of mine and some strangers. I attempted to interview 3 ladies about their shark experience. None of them had actually seen a shark and they didn't want to be interviewed anyway. And I hope you enjoy the show. Now I believe even a few weeks ago, Johnny, you had a bit of an incident in the surf. Like, what the hell, what happened?
Well, mate, just let me just
take your time.
Clear the throat because I'm still cleaning my pants. It's pretty scary. Anyway, it just goes to show that sharks is like, they don't really out to hurt people, are they?
No, not at all.
Yeah, so here's a good example.
Yep.
This is one of.
Yep.
So, Otello's.
Yep.
Anyway, sitting there with my kids, of course, nearby, and
wow.
all of a sudden I see this Mr. T's truck come under me.
Oh, Jesus.
Just dark, big Bedford van,
Really?
underwater. It was so big.
Like, what was the visibility like?
Visibility was just pretty clear.
Right.
It was just dark.
Oh.
Just under almost touched my feet.
Oh, Jesus.
And so shitting myself.
Oh my God. Right.
I'm trying to call my kids, let's get out, but they were like already kind of scattered. So I'm like, I'm gonna catch a wave in.
Right.
On my belly, I got out, and then from the shore, I was just like frantically trying to get him out.
Right.
I haven't told him since. Yeah.
Right. This is Juan?
Juan, yeah.
Juan?
Yeah, Lordy.
So your surfing shark stories, Juan, what do you got?
Got a couple, but I think the most notable one was one, I think it was last year, with another dude out at the bar, late afternoon, going dark.
Yeah.
I didn't actually see the thing, but the other dude just went, shark!
Right.
And he got a wave, and he was trying to paddle back out through the bar.
Right.
And I kind of looked at him and went, you're not going to get out that way. Like,
Yes.
the grip's just way too strong. So I was like, come with me.
Right.
Really, I was just shit scared, so I kind of wanted a friend.
Right.
And we paddled in next to the river, and then the guys on the rocks were all going shark and pointing at us, and we couldn't see this.
Mate.
I couldn't see it. I never saw the shark,
Right.
which is kind of the worst thing. Climbed up the rocks and
did ya?
put my feet up, and I got hit by a wave and got clipped and fell into the rocks and ended up in a hole, just holding my board over my head.
Jesus.
Just going, oh, what a dog
Mate.
situation.
Well, you made it to live. That's sick. Thanks, mate. That's
No,
gold.
you're right.
I'm here with a friend of mine, Tom. Tom, like everyone else, has surfed all over the world. And so the question today, Thomas, is what's your experience with sharks in the surf? What have you seen?
Well, I grew up on the north end of the Goldie, learned to surf at Main Beach, and then me and my mates started paddling over the Seaway to South Stratty.
Which is very sharky, yep.
We must have done that 200 times by the time I left home.
Jesus.
Never saw a shark. My first travelling was to Samoa, where I spent 3 months, but I never saw a shark there. Been to Indo, I think 6, maybe 7 times. Never seen a shark.
Not
anywhere.
once?
No. I've surfed in Portugal and Spain. Never seen a shark there, but you wouldn't expect to.
No, you wouldn't.
Surfed in Sri Lanka. Never saw a shark there.
This is Tommy from Uruguay. Tell us a scary shark story, lad.
So the most scary one was at Pelicans in Central Coast.
Yeah.
It was actually a great nurse, but back then I didn't know they were not like dangerous or nothing, but it was pretty big.
Yeah.
And so my friend was like, we were just us out there, and my friend did my like, but super chill, you know, and I started paddling right out, you know, and the first wave he caught it, and the second wave when I'm paddling like this, like the shark appears right there, like dorsal fully out, and like not like I couldn't see it perfectly on the wave, but I saw the shadow, and it was like 3 meters from me, and I shit my pants, and he started paddling out, and I paddled out as well. But
sick.
Wasn't hectic, but
that's all right. That's great. Thanks, Tommy from Uruguay. That's good, mate.
Have a good one, bro.
So Taama, if you know Taama, he's a madman.
We're going to hear a Taama story in a second.
Crazy guy. So pass, busy.
Yep.
Crowded.
This is Byron Bay, the pass. Yep.
Yeah. So the day before, I was just surfing out there, and we saw this. There's been a report, a juvenile white pointer hanging around. And I saw it.
Yeah.
And anyway, everyone said, "Oh, it's just a juvenile white pointer."
Right.
Anyway, day after, I met Taama out there with his family as well. We were surfing.
Yeah.
An hour or two.
Yep.
And we got out. We just finished our surf, and I see this thing just bobbing like that. I thought it was someone snorkeling. Because it was in the shallow with all the kids. Lots of kids. Anyway. And I said, shit, that's a shark. And first thing Taama does, grabs his board and walks out there. He goes, oh shit. Oh. So he goes out there. Anyway, he's there waiting, and water's going in, and he gets like this, and he's eyeing it off. So there was an eye, it was a standoff.
Taama and a juvenile white pointer?
Yeah, but that's what they said, juvenile, but he reckons, and he comes back up, goes, yep, it's a white pointer, it's a big one. And it's like, so they're having an, and we're all like, Taama's missus going, what's he doing?
Oh my.
And then it took off. It was scared of Taama.
Right.
So he won that battle. But anyway, he comes out and we're like, you're crazy, dude. What did you do that for? And he's like, oh, you know why I did that and I felt safe about it? Because I had a surfboard under my arm.
I spent most of my time, for most of the 90s, surfing around Lennox. Skinners, boulders, North Wall.
Yep.
Never saw a shark.
Right.
Didn't even see one. Double Island Point.
Oh, Double Island Point. I've been there twice.
Several trips. Never seen a shark there.
Right.
I lived in Cape Town for a year. That was scary.
Right.
But I never saw a shark.
Dwayne. Sorry, Dwayne, mate.
Right, mate.
So it's hungover on his 40th birthday. What's your experiences of sharks in the surf in your surfing life?
Scary as hell. To be honest, I'm not that afraid of them. The concept is probably a little scary. Yeah.
Have you seen any, or it's,
I've been chased out of the water a couple of times.
What? Where and by what?
In New Zealand, actually. I've had nothing over in Australia, but in NZ, yeah. I've got a
Right,
couple
white
close
pointers.
calls.
You know what they were? Or?
Marco was the closest I got to one.
Oh shit!
And a 4 metre great white as well.
Bugger that for a joke. Right.
Yeah, the Marco was probably scariest because I was literally from a year away from it.
Right. Okay.
That's close I could see his teeth.
Corey.
Hi Corey, I'm Hock.
How you going?
What's your experiences of sharks in the surf?
Oh, I haven't had too many, to be honest. More seals where we grew up.
In ZZ?
Yeah, in the deep south. They'll attack you out in the surf.
They will push you under the water.
Actually, I saw some footage the other day of like 2 guys in Canada were being chased out of the water with them.
But a bit seal.
Yeah, they bite you.
Right.
They'll go you.
I never thought about doing a seal video.
Fast forward 10 years later, same guy.
Right.
We're out in the boat fishing.
Yes.
No fish, no bites.
This is about 1.5 km from shore. Would
Yeah,
you say?
so yeah,
Like-
New Brighton Reef, from the Bruns Bar to the New Brighton Reef. So we're not getting anything. He's gone down diving, trying to he's determined to get a fish.
Right.
Nothing. So he's cracked it. We're like both going, no fish, let's go home. And nah, I'm gonna swim. So,
Jesus Christ.
and I'm looking at the bar, and I'm looking where we are. So he started swimming.
Right.
And I'm like on the far out. That's a long swim out in the open.
Yes.
Sea. So anyway, he's swimming. He's getting his stroke on.
Right.
He's getting into rhythm. And about 10 minutes down, going south.
Yeah.
And he's, and then this shark just comes swirling around. And I'm trying to maneuver the boat between him and the shark.
Jesus.
And hoping that I'm screaming at him.
Right.
Taama! And he's just like, nah. He's getting his stroke on.
Right.
He wanted to go to the bar and like, Taama! So I'm just like, and this thing's flying, mind you. He's like, must have smelt this guy.
Right.
And yeah, and finally I got close enough near him, and he actually just came to.
Right.
And he's racing up the boat. And anyway, yeah, and we spotted this. He reckons it was like about a 2 meter
Bull shark,
bull
right?
shark.
Right.
I'm like, far out, mate. Your legs not that big. You can easily take it. So that's him again. But he is not normal, and the sharks love him.
But you have to say sponge sharks somewhere, right?
Oh yeah. In total, I've spent 7 months in Samoa.
Right.
And once I saw a black tip reef shark there.
And how big was this shark?
I reckon it was about that big.
That is scary, man.
I'm a lucky guy.
Right, so we're here with Taama, and you've heard the description of Taama. Here he is, the man in the flesh. Cheers, Taama. Good to see you.
Cheers, mate.
Haven't seen Taama for a long time.
Good to see you too.
Surfing, you've been surfing for how long? Like?
Since I was 13.
Right, what are you now? 18?
45.
Right, so
18.
so you must have seen some sharks. What's some of the? Give me some sharks from your surfboard point of view. Like, what have you got? Have you seen anything hairy? Like what?
There hasn't been a great deal. One memorable one of sighting was I think a white at Lennox Point about 5 years ago during the height of the. You know, probably wasn't long after Tadashi, probably maybe 6 months after Tadashi.
Tadashi's a guy, a Japanese Australian guy, got killed in Ballina in February, yeah.
That's right, he got taken at
5 years ago.
At Shelley Beach. It was pretty horrific.
Bitten in half, oh my God.
We're talking way on the inside at the point, way down past the hut, having just got, a leg burner all the way through, wide, paddling back out. I'm paddling nice and slow, just minding my swell line approaches. Just a fat swell line. Yeah. Black figure, like dark
in the middle of the
grey
boat.
figure.
Oh,
slow, just beautiful, graceful moving.
Right. How far as the crow flies? How far are we talking?
But it doesn't even appear to be anything. It just appears to be something moving.
Water. It's not water.
It's bizarre. And when it's actually of that size, it looks like the whole volume of water is moving.
Wow.
It's hard to comprehend what it actually is until you go, hang on a minute, is that what I think it is? And how before, even when I had, as soon as I thought, is that what I think it is?
Yes.
Whoosh.
Oh wow! Right.
I saw the tail whoosh.
Yes.
And just the split second of a little white flash, a little white flash, and gone.
Right. And how
never to be seen again.
As the crow flies, how far was this creature from you?
I'm talking from me to the.
Oh, get out of town!
I'm
3 meters away.
I'm talking 3 to 5 meters.
Wow, mate!
I'm talking the V-dub like object was displacing. It was there,
and
it was gone.
Right, and your reaction to that moment was like, "Thank Christ!" Okay, just like, where's the next wave? Like, did you hang around?
I froze when I actually realised what it was.
Right.
I froze. I just went into this shock of like,
right.
And then they say don't flap kick, so I just. I turned the opposite way of so it went out. Right. I just went straight back in. And I didn't. It's a hard thing to say, but I didn't just flap and try and.
Well, you also don't want to make noise. You also don't want to like suddenly create chaos, right?
Direct, straight to the rocks of Lennox Point.
Right.
And it was such a nice moment when I touched those rocks.
Right.
And then I told everyone, get out of the water, out of the water, and everyone listened. And there was, 1 minute there was probably 25 to 30 guys, to then being no one.
That's a great story. Thanks, Tomas.
The whole thing with Johnny, the fear factor didn't kick in because I didn't actually see the shark. It wasn't the fear factor that got me. It was the way Johnny was looking at me and the urgency and what he was saying. Get the f out of the water, dude.
Yes.
Get out.
Oh my God.
And I'm like, oh, okay. So I swam over to the boat. I've jumped into the boat. Literally, as I've jumped in, I've turned around and gone, holy
Like,
from me to you off the boat, like
oh,
there.
no shit, like a couple of metres.
It came straight up right.
How big was it? Like,
I'd say 2.5 metre
big
bull
enough,
shark.
well, big enough to hurt.
2.5 to
right.
2.5 metres is longer than us. And then the fin, it just the same again. It comes up. They sort of show their and then they just disappear. They just go, and they're just such a graceful creature.
Oh, I don't know what's going on. There was
same thing. Did he tell you about the pass?
Actually, thank you. I'm
Glad
glad
I wanted to swim out to and go and have a look at.
I'm glad I'm talking to you now, even though you're watching this after we've spoken to Johnny. So this won't make
you wait
sense.
till you talk to Johnny. You'll love him.
Even though we're talking to him first. Let's go. Well, that was Tams. He is a human being, and love your work. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, Hop.
Right, so I'm here with Fitz. I mean, your list of places you've surfed at are
a couple. Yeah, memorable shark tale. Yeah, the white point is probably the funniest.
Lay it on me.
Tale in terms of a sheer terror experience that was witnessed by myself. You know, I didn't feel the terror, but I saw and heard the terror.
Yeah.
Down the beach, and
right.
It was, you know, it was a weekday. There was a northeast wind blowing. There was kind of 4 to 5 feet of kind of east-southeast swell hitting tallows.
Right.
And it was solid and juicy, and
and
paddled out in the corner in boardies, and
the
sun was getting low in the western sky, and tallows looked sort of stormy and moody, but it was good. It was pumping. There was some good waves out there, and there was guys kind of spread out down the beach, and got out, and I paddled out next to this guy, and we sort of popped out, you know, out in the rip next to the cape there, and we start paddling down. We'd sort of duck dive, got a few sets on there, a few waves in the head. We're paddling down towards the south, and we sort of sit up on our boards, like good paddle out, and we're kind of near each other, 10 metres away, and he's like, oh, what's that? I think that's a shark, and he's pointing sort of out, kind of to the east of us, slightly out the back a bit.
Right.
And sure enough, this big black shape's coming in towards us, and then a wave comes through, and you see it in the wave, and it's you know, it's quite obviously a big shark or a big manta ray. It's a big wide black thing.
Right. You'll like Tama's story anyway. Yep.
And then we sort of gravitate towards each other. We actually sort of paddle towards each other, and the rest of the guys were slightly down the beach from us because we were still up near the rip in the corner.
Yeah.
And the first peak was kind of down the beach a bit. It wasn't in the rip.
Right.
And it sort of came quite close to us, and we basically looked down and gone, oh yeah, it looks like a big white, maybe 3.5 metre.
Big enough.
White, you know.
Yeah.
And so we're sort of on our boards watching it, and it kind of swims towards the south and then back out the back, back out the back.
Right.
And we're like, okay, well, so it looks like it's
gone bush
moved on.
paddock.
We'll surf. Not 30 seconds later.
Right.
And I just hear this commotion, this sort of this, and look down to see like 4 guys panicking.
Right.
And one like going over the falls, one trying to take the drop, nose diving, 2 others like paddling as hard as they can. And we're like, oh man, that's the shark, this guy. And I were like, oh, that's the shark. And all of a sudden the whole lineup just migrates in towards the beach.
Yes.
And so we went in too.
Why wouldn't you?
And we get onto the sand, and there's this guy from Byron, I forget his name, classic looking dude, classic looking Byron, full of testosterone, legend, covered in tattoos, big black mo, best looking guy in the universe, fitter than you know, the Hoff when he was in his prime. And he's on the beach, and he's just like, and he's gathered with another couple of other guys, and we walk up and we're like, what happened, lads? And there's sort of 10 guys gathering around these two boys now.
Right.
And this guy, he rips, and he's like, and so when he says, you know, this was heavy, you sort of believe him. And he's like, we were out there, I was paddling, getting ready to turn for a wave, and this dude, who was a Spanish guy, who was just wired,
Right.
Big pupils. He goes, this dude just yelled at me, "Look behind you, bro!" And the, big Hoff dude covered in tattoos, he reckons he's looked behind him as he's paddling to get in position for a wave, and there's a big fin, 1 foot behind his feet as he's paddling. So he's looked behind him to see a really big fin just passing behind his feet.
Oh Christ!
And it was them. They were like,
right.
Anyway, then we all paddled out like 10 minutes later again.
Now, as we discussed previously, if you're up for it, I'd like to farewell the video with you playing some honky tonk something or other. Fitz is quite an amazing magician. Yeah, you're like cross between a musician and a magician.
Musician.
He's a magician.
I like it.
Yeah, you up for that for 2 secs?
Yeah, for sure. Why not?
Let's do that.
Had 3 trips to Ireland. No sharks in Ireland.